Morning, everyone, and welcome to this first Fairbairn Consult Conference. I'm really glad to be here. I think before I start, I probably need to explain that I don't usually look like this, and my husband doesn't beat me. It was a little bit of an encounter between my new desire for a back-to-nature life and my beehive and my face, and I came off second best, unfortunately. On the plus side, I managed to escape the makeup nemesis, and all the guys here today are wearing more than me for once, which is which is a fantastic thing. So, Guy asked me to talk about how we, as Old Mutual Personal Finance, see the future, and I'm going to step right into that. I think over the last 18 months, you've heard a lot from a lot of different people about how the world has changed, how we're living through unprecedented times, and I'm not going to repeat all of that. I'm going to skip right to what do we think that means for the future, and what do we think has changed given the times we've been living through. So let me start with the opportunity. From an opportunity perspective, I think for the first time in many decades, we've seen people around the world and in South Africa really think about the lifestyles that they are leading. We've seen people forced together with their families in isolation, in lockdown, and we've seen people all around us being impacted and many friends and family members passing away because of COVID. And for most of us, that's made us really think about what's important and what we want out of life. And yes, some of us are doing strange things like putting beehives in our garden, but for most people, they are thinking about what it would mean for their loved ones if they pass away. Many people have been experiencing financial stress because of lockdown, because of what the impact it's had on their businesses, including all of us and yourselves. So I think the environment has never been as ripe for financial planners as it is today. More people thinking about risk cover, needing risk cover, more people thinking about saving and making sure that they have that money set aside, that nest egg set aside, thinking about the long term, thinking about the future. I think, as I said, for the first time in decades, that sort of thinking is displacing conspicuous consumption, the need for the flash new car, the need for the expensive clothes and designer outfits, the need for your gym subscription and your DSTV subscription. So very much an opportunity, I think, for the financial planning community, and one that gives you fertile ground for having those engagements with potential new customers. Of course, and there's always a but, there are some threats from what we've seen around us. So first of all, and talking to financial planners, I hear this a lot. There's a very deep concern and a fear from financial planners that because people have been forced to do a lot more online, because they've been forced to shop online, engage online, sit in endless Teams meetings for their jobs, that they will no longer need a face-to-face financial planner, that they'll be willing to do everything themselves, that they'll be willing to actually deal with robo-advisors and do their own investing through sets of tools. It's a very real fear, but I think there's both some truth in it and something that will never change. So the truth is, people who were previously a little bit anti-IT, anti-internet, anti-computer have been forced to become more familiar with it and are now used to doing simple things themselves. But the truth that will never change, and in all our customer interventions and interviews and panels that we run, this comes through. People don't like to think about the future, and they struggle to really sort out in their heads their financial priorities in life, whether that's just their own or the ones that they and their partners wish to share in their future together. We all money is one of those taboo topics. I've heard people say in interviews before they'd rather discuss sex with their kids and tell them about the birds and the bees than they would talk about money. So those money demons are things people actually need help with. And because they don't want to engage with it, because they almost need someone to help them over the line, really working through the priorities in life, having those deep conversations about whether you value a comfortable retirement more than your children going to a really expensive educational facility for their tertiary education, are conversations that are difficult to have, and people need help with them. And those kind of conversations, the kind of on-the-couch conversations, are things that people don't like to do online. They're things that people can't do with an AI or a robo. So I think there will always be a place for the face-to-face financial advisor, but the role will be different to the past, because the sort of calculation elements, the simple, I want to change my details, I want to switch, I want to do X, Y, Z. People will be more willing to do themselves quickly online. The checking of their values, the checking of how their plan is going, they might be willing to do online. But the intensive conversations, the coaching, the help with what do I want, what is my plan in life, and how do I then craft a financial plan to back it, that for me will never change, and the role of the financial advisor will remain paramount. I think the second big threat that we do face as a financial planning community out of the last while is that in the medium term, I think the global economy is still very much sort of under pressure. And certainly in South Africa, we're seeing that pressure. It's the first time I've ever seen queues of cars lining up for petrol in the UK. It's the first time there's been shortages of goods in Europe. Now, some of that's going to stimulate demand, but for the economy, the global economy, to actually grow back to where it was is going to take a while. So in that sort of environment, people's finances are under pressure. And as a result, I think we will, as an industry, face quite a lot of pushback on fee levels, and from a financial planner perspective, probably on your levels of planning fees. So what do we do about the opportunity? So more people who are willing to engage with their finances, and the threats. The fact that actually I think people are going to want different things from their financial planner, and they're probably likely to put pressure on fees at the same time. I think this is where the theme of today is really important. You're going to have to think innovatively. You're going to have to think like a business person and like an entrepreneur. So first off, I think when your revenue levels go down, so when you earn less fees, you actually have two choices. One is to accept that drop in income and try and cut your expenses in your practice. So can you do more yourself? Can you do more using technology? Can you take smaller premises? Can you employ less staff? Those kinds of sort of questions. But the other way to look at it is, how do I increase my revenue? If I can't do it through my fee levels, I've got to do it through more clients, more customers. And if I have to deal with more customers, how am I going to do that? Because I only have a certain amount of hours in the day, and I already fill those hours with my current client base. I think this is where access and being part of Fairbairn Consult is really important, because for me, and Guy touched on it a little bit earlier, you have to think very critically about your client base and what categories they fall in. Are they A clients? Are they B clients? Are they C clients? And what is your value proposition to the different client types? What can you do to make your time more effective? What can you use from a technology perspective to communicate with a broader base of customers, but clustered into their niches, given what you know about them? How do you actually segment your customer base, deal with them, some with technology, some with face-to-face, appropriately, given the revenue you're getting out of them? Now, I think being an entrepreneur or a business person and a financial planner at the same time is quite a tough ask. I think I've always been in a very privileged position working in a big corporate environment, because let's face it, we're not all great at everything. So saying to you all, actually you need to think like an entrepreneur, drive a business outcome, which involves thinking about finances and accounting and expenses and expense management. It involves marketing and how do I get referrals and word of mouth. It involves communication. How do I talk to my customers? How do I get information out to them? And those aspects, we're not all equally good at everything. And in fact, it's a very hard ask to say, be good at all of those things and be good at having coaching conversations and being a kind of psychologist on the couch, and be good at the technical aspects of creating a financial plan. Know all the products, know all the solutions, be able to recommend the right thing. That is a very wide array. And in fact, I think if you can do all of it, you probably deserve to be Elon Musk and running Tesla. I think the fortunate thing in having associated yourselves with Fairbairn Consult, and really taken that career risk, is that in a large corporate, we have access to resources. So in my personal capacity, I know what I'm good at. I'm pretty bright. I'm good at certain aspects of running personal finance and wealth. But there are definitely things where I know that I'm pretty crap at them. And the trick is to find the help that you need, to really surround yourself with the resources that you require to compensate for your weaknesses. And in Fairbairn Consult, you have that opportunity. So we have great business coaches. We have access to marketing resources. We have access to specialist comms people who really shine in the aspects of what they do. You also have access, as part of the Fairbairn Consult community, to one another. So some of you are going to be good at marketing and mining your base for referrals. Some of you are going to be great at customer segmentation. Some of you are going to be fantastic at proposition design. But in engaging with one another and learning from one another, that also gives you a very good opportunity. So I think you've made a fantastic decision in joining Fairbairn Consult, and I really think that this RFA is going to fly. So what are we as Old Mutual doing, given some of the opportunities and challenges that are outlined? I think I describe the personal finance and wealth strategy as a bar stool, a three-legged bar stool. And I grew up in a rough mining community, so I'm quite familiar with bar stools. The problem is, if one leg of a bar stool is shorter than the other, you topple over, no matter how many drinks you may or may not have had. So what are the three legs of the bar stool in terms of our strategy, which I think need to be equally strong, equally robust, and have equal attention? The first is around the customer experience and the customer proposition. So making sure that we've got solutions that really work for customers and their needs, making sure that the client experience is fantastic. We pay claims when they're due, and we do it fast. We service customers effectively, and that when they're investing or saving, their outcomes that they're actually looking for are met. The second leg of the stool is actually about you as the planner. Our experience for you needs to actually talk to the fact that you're going to have more clients if you want to keep your revenue up, and less time to do things. And we have to step up as a product provider and really meet those needs. So we need to make sure that your advisor experience is slick, it's as automated as possible, it keeps you in the loop, it's as quick as possible, and really allows you then to deliver that awesome customer proposition and experience that you're looking for to your clients. And then the third leg is about our efficient management of Old Mutual as a product machine, so to speak. We need to make sure we're managing our capital well. We need to make sure that we price adequately, that we keep our expenses really contained, so we're able to price competitively while still offering that great customer and great advisor experience. And our strategy and path over the next 3 years is very much built around that. So we are investing heavily in advisor enablement tools, in things like communications engines, which will help you talk to your various segments of customers. We've invested very heavily in straight-through processing, in online products that you're able to engage with digitally and remotely with your customer. We have a path ahead of us, so I think this journey for us is definitely for the next 3 to 5 years. but heavy investments and very much focus and dedication going into it. I think if we manage to get those three legs, robust, supported, and equally strong, we will definitely be able to have a customer base and advisors that are strong and supported into the future. So that's, for me, a little bit of a glance into what we see as opportunities and threats. So to sum up, very much fertile ground for you as advisors to talk to customers about risk, about savings, about investments. Some changes that you need to think about really, really carefully as planners. What is your value proposition? What is it that you offer that they cannot get from a robo-advisor or an online, purely digital experience with a product provider? And how are you going to potentially mitigate against fee pressure? How are you going to structure your business and think about the future of your business in a way that enables you to deal with more customers more efficiently? And what kind of customers are you going to look for in that way? I think from an Old Mutual perspective, we are very much of the view that the RFA model is necessary going into the future in South Africa. So we have a situation where obviously regulation is increasing and we don't see that pressure lessening. So for the average IFA out there who's running a standalone practice, life is becoming increasingly hard. There's more of your time and attention getting taken with non-revenue generating stuff. So the sheer volume of compliance and governance required to run a financial practice at this juncture is very onerous. So I think we will see more and more of the industry actually wanting to be part of larger networks, wanting to have some of that sort of governance stuff taken care of. I think why RFA rather than just saying, well, let everyone come and be part of our tide force? I think we definitely see customers across South Africa bracketed into many different segments, and there in the affluent markets are a lot of customers who demand choice, who want you to be able to talk to them about products and solutions from across the industry, and they really want advisors to be guiding them to the best solution. And that for me is good for our customers as well as for Old Mutual, because it pushes us as a company to do better. So I think we want to be able to compete and to earn our place in your lineup on merits, not as sort of a kind of with our tide advisors because we're there. It means that it makes us stronger in what we offer for our tide force as well. So that I think is the reason we've really invested and are willing to back and give support to Fairbairn Consult, because we think it's a necessary part, but also we think it makes us stronger. And your feedback to us, when you tell us, actually, you're not shaping up here, you're not shaping up there, you need to do better on this aspect, makes us better and makes us stronger. And I do want to say to all of you, please tell us those things. I know Guy does already, and Marwan feeds it back to me, but we really do value that input and value the kind of thinking time it gives us and the reflection time. So that's it from my side. I want to thank you once again for joining Fairbairn Consult. I do see it going from strength to strength. I think we've got a fantastic bunch of planners in the business. I hope that it grows and we actually see it becoming a vibrant part of the financial planning community in South Africa. Thanks.